thank you for coming to this show, and it's my honor to host you. And I'm going to ask you some questions about the score you achieved because this is one of the best scores that I've ever seen in my life. I'd like to start with a little introduction. Could you tell me a little about yourself?
My name is Rafida Seydov and I am a chemical engineering graduate, but I have never loved factories. So yeah, so I changed my career trajectory and I started teaching general English lessons
Okay.
when I was a sophomore student. So in 2020, I started teaching, and since then, I have had some experience as teaching, but of course, I wanted to try corporate life as well. So I had a pause in between
Okay.
all those teaching experiences. And that IELTS was primarily for getting a better teaching job, actually.
Oh, I see.
And it was my second time sitting an IELTS exam.
Okay.
My first time, I scored 8.
Okay.
And for the second time, and the one we are interviewing about, it was 8.5.
Brilliant. Well, your score, listening 9, reading 9, writing 7.5, and speaking 8.5. And very few native speakers achieve this score, let alone non-native speakers. I'd like to start with your listening and reading were perfect 9s, but your writing was stuck at 7.5. Why do you think writing behaves so differently?
I wish I knew, but I kind of knew. I kind of know. Writing is something that you are generating under a time pressure, without any tools or without any dictionary, because you are in an exam. Reading and listening are a bit easier for me or for everyone maybe, because you are not actively producing something out of nowhere from scratch. But for writing and speaking, it is a bit different. You have to be creating a perfect work to be to be marked by higher scores. So maybe because of that, because of time pressure, yeah, when it comes to writing or learning a language in general, we know a lot of words, but we don't actively use them. I think that's the main hindrance between the perfect scoring you.
Yeah, I see.
Because I can understand complicated words when I'm doing reading, but I cannot recall them to use in my writing or to use in my speech. In my speech, I kind of can recall them more easily than in writing, because in writing I kind of focus on ideas and and to follow the structure.
Yeah, the pattern.
The pattern, how
Yes.
to fulfill the task requirements and so on. So I kind of ignore the vocabulary part a little bit. I think with practice it can also be increased. So I don't want anyone to be pessimistic about it.
Your writing actually kills a lot of motivation out there. So I think it's been traditionally the lowest score of all, the 4 skills. And I'm going to talk about it more. I mean, let's discuss it. My next question is, if you had to name the one specific skill that took your reading from 6.5 to 9, what was it? What skill would you name that helped you massively to achieve band 9 in reading?
Honestly speaking, I haven't done that much of reading outside of IELTS preparation in my entire life.
Wow, really?
Yeah, really. To be
That's actually got me off guard because I've always believed that people who kind of do a lot of reading somehow do really well in IELTS reading too. And you are the complete opposite to that rule.
exactly.
How does that happen?
But here comes the but. I watch a lot of video essays, and in those video essays, they talk in a way that they write. It is not a usual spoken language.
Okay.
I watch videos on psychology, on cinematography, on I don't know. Even sometimes I used to watch TED or TEDx talks, just to get more information about the things I love and I'm interested in. And while doing so, I never intended to increase my IELTS score. I was just trying to have more knowledge.
And input.
Yeah. And
So
I
you were
think
interested in those videos that you
exactly,
watched.
exactly. And I think it helped me tremendously because it was like listening to an audiobook, let's say. It was like that.
But how did it help your reading?
Because in those videos they used to use that kind of language. It kind of helped me to improve my reading comprehension. Because in those videos people, the creators, used to teach or elaborate on complex topics, and while doing so they used to use quotes from books. They used to use quotes from speeches of important people or famous people. So I kind of cheated my way.
Wow. Well, this is the first time I hear somebody saying that they ace the reading section by watching videos. Because I always, again, have believed that it's the other way around. You need to read a lot of articles. And students who scored 9 in reading actually have proven this to be true. Very, very unique of you. And here is an interesting question. What were you doing wrong at the very beginning that you later had to unlearn or change somehow?
In which section?
Any of them?
I think my main pain point was reading in the very beginning. Because in reading I used to try to read everything, and it was kind of because of my perfectionist nature.
Okay.
I was like, no, I have to know every single word written down there. I have to fully like grasp the ideas, vocabulary, blah blah blah, to understand and answer. But no, in IELTS you are not preparing for that to be an expert in that topic.
No.
You are just preparing to pass
That's
the
true.
requirements. Yeah, so I stopped reading from head to toe, let's say. I started to skim and scan and blah blah. Yeah, that helped me a lot. And in listening, oh my god, in listening I used to get demotivated once I miss a question. Let's say
Yes, it's a tragedy, I would say.
I know. In the middle of the exam, I start to self-talk with myself
Okay.
about, oh my god, I did miss this question. It was so easy. It was just the name of the person. You should have been more careful, blah blah. But no, by saying that words in my head, I used to miss another question and another question and another question.
Yeah.
It was like it was creating a chain reaction.
Exactly.
Some sort of. So I was like, whatever happens, happens. Yeah. So I used to let go of that saying. I used to unlearn that self-punishment talk in the middle of the next exam. I led myself to punish myself after the exam is finished. It has always been like that, even in my university exams.
Okay.
I used to calculate how much score I will get
Okay.
during the exam.
Wow.
That would take so much time of mine. I should have done another question by using that time.
Well, that self-punishment thing, in listening, it is deadly. I can definitely say that. And I remember 2 years ago when I took the exam, I didn't miss the first 2 questions, but I wasn't sure of those very first 2 questions of the listening section. And I kind of try to, how would I say, comfort myself that, okay, I mean, if you miss them, all right. And I ended up getting 9 in listening. So I either wrote them both correctly or one of them at least was correct. So because I was kind of certain of the remaining 38 questions. And you are very, very right. Had I worried too much about those 2 questions, I would have probably scored much, much less than 9 in the listening section. Speaking of listening, how about your routine when you try to improve your listening? Like, was there a specific routine that you followed to develop your comprehension in listening, to develop your strategies and technique for different question types? What was happening during that time?
I think practice really makes better. I
Yeah.
don't like the word perfect because of my perfectionism. It has harmed me a lot.
Okay.
But like I'm trying to unlearn that as well. But like practice really helps you, and it is an exam at the end of the day. So
Yes.
you have to follow their rules. You have to play the game following their rules, their requirements. You have to meet those demands.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you have to practice with the same materials, official materials they provide.
Yes.
So I used Cambridge books a lot. I used to practice again and again.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did practice the same test a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I used to finish.
And how did it help you?
Well, I have a very weak memory.
Okay.
So I used to forget the answer to questions anyway. So it was kind of a new test every time for me.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Like I never, I don't even remember what was my, let's say, prompt for writing in IELTS test, official test. I don't remember. It just,
Well, I've I've forgotten my prompt as well.
no, like even if I just leave the exam
Wow.
room.
Yeah, if the exam happened yesterday, you would have forgotten it
Yeah,
by now.
exactly.
Okay. So you were doing the official tests again and again.
Of course, there is no point in doing it like 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Of course, twice is enough. At least it was enough for me. And then I used to increase the difficulty a little bit. There are some books like Practice Plus tests that are a bit not in.
I wouldn't recommend those books, honestly, because they're not written or formulated in the IELTS way.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Yes, they are not perfectly aligned
With the
aligned
IELTS
with the
rules,
IELTS
yeah.
books. Yeah, but the only reason I kept doing them was to hear more of different accents or more different words and different to get to know different vocabulary and so on.
Vocabulary, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to score better than average.
Yes.
So I wanted to increase the difficulty and go a little bit, drift a little bit away from the official format, just to challenge myself more. But
okay.
but when it was approaching to the exam date, I again went back to Cambridge books. Yeah, exactly, or official website materials.
How did you train yourself to catch answers when the speaker uses a synonym instead of the word on the page? This primarily happens in multiple choice questions and matching questions, and sometimes choosing from the list. And students hate these questions. Like, we know that section 1 is primarily gap filling questions. Section 4, meanwhile, is almost the same. But students start losing points in section 2 and 3 when they start having multiple choice questions, matching questions. I wouldn't call map questions very hard, so they are still doable. But these multiple choice questions and matching questions cost students the exam fee. Let's put it that way. And the sole reason behind it is the level of paraphrasing you get in these questions. The speakers almost do not use even a single word from the question. How did you manage that? How did you manage to understand it? Like, was it the level of, was it the number of words you knew? Was it the attention, the concentration you had? What was your success in those questions?
I think, first of all, I am kind of surprised to hear that map questions are easy in listening.
Well, I think they're easy.
because they were my main pain point.
Really?
Yeah, because
And did you have map questions in the exam?
I don't remember.
Oh, because back in 2024, when I took the test, I scored 9 in listening and I didn't have map questions. I had a lot of multiple choice questions, I would say up to 10. I had choosing from the list and matching questions.
Unfortunately, I am very bad at directions, even in real life. I cannot follow instructions. I cannot follow directions when I am trying to find a route to somewhere.
Okay.
So it was kind of hindering my progress in IELTS. It was hindering my performance in such questions as well. But about your questions, when we come to answer your questions, I think writing helped me a lot. I know it's an unusual answer, maybe.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is. But I think when I have to write an essay, I used to find a lot of different ways to paraphrase one word or some expressions
Okay.
or chunk of words. I always try to paraphrase the idea and not the word itself. When you paraphrase word by word, it's so hard. It
Yes.
becomes sometimes impossible because there are some
And unnatural.
Exactly.
Yes.
It sounds robotic. There are some words that you cannot paraphrase, for example, or you shouldn't be paraphrasing. And there are some words, even if they have synonyms, in that given context of that text or that prompt of writing task, you shouldn't use. For example, you shouldn't say combat instead of solve, manage. you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because some is used in completely
Different context.
contexts.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when I was trying to write a perfect essay, I used to read a lot because it doesn't the skill of paraphrasing doesn't come to you naturally. You have to first analyze and see it done in the real world by a
Yes.
professional.
Yes.
And by those professionals, IELTS Liz, IELTS Simon. I read a lot of essays of those people, and E2 IELTS channel helped me a lot as well. I used to watch videos of Jay. It was the
Yes, Jay. Yeah, I also have taken some of the strategies from that channel. I love that channel.
Yeah, he was writing in real time, and he used to give us some prompt, let's say, and he wanted us to paraphrase, and I used to paraphrase just as I was watching the video, and then I fast forward to see the way he paraphrased that
Yeah.
question, and I used to compare, I used to take notes, I used to learn a lot from it. I think everything in life is interconnected, so it is the
true.
same for IELTS as well.
Yes, yes.
When you are improving one skill, it kind of deliberately or
Unintentionally.
unintentionally, helps you to increase score in other section.
Well, honestly, the way how you used writing to develop the level of paraphrasing you can have and apply it in listening, it is something brilliant because I never thought about it. Like writing paraphrasing skills somehow can help you with listening because these are two different skills. One is receptive while other is active, right?
I even
That's great.
used to, of course, not during the exam, but
Yeah.
when I was doing mock tests at home or when I was doing practice tests, I used to try to guess what kind of paraphrasing they can make.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you're paraphrasing advanced so much, you started predict.
I tried to predict, actually in advance before I did this practice. I tried to predict. It was a deliberate task I made up for myself. Yeah, sometimes I used to think, okay, how can they say this prompt in speaking? How can it come up? Of course, it's so hard to do, and you can never get the perfect score in this kind of challenge. But it helps you to generate some kind of vocabulary, some kind of some level of pattern recognition is involved here.
Okay, cool. Now, I'd like to go on to reading. And here is the traditional question. Yes, please. Here is the traditional question. Do you read the passage first or the questions first? As a 9 scorer in reading, which one do you think works better? Because I know a lot of people watch this
Yes.
wonder if there is a right way of reading the questions first or the passage first.
I personally would love to advise to read I personally read the questions first. Yeah, I always read the questions first because without knowing the questions, I'm just when I'm reading, I'm just absorbing random information. I don't know where to pay attention.
Yes.
So I'm just reading bunch of words and some story about some guy or some girl or someone.
You get the information without knowing what to do with it.
Exactly. I just get useless information. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because even if I have tried both during my practices at home, and when I read the passage first and then move to the questions, I cannot remember what I just read.
Oh.
I just remember, yeah, there was something about this guy in the passage, but what was that? Because I was just reading it without an intention, without a specific question in mind. So I realized it doesn't work for me, this method. And I assume it wouldn't work for a lot of people, but it's just an assumption at the end of the day. So I always try to read the questions first. And I would read all the questions, let's say like 5 questions in one kind of set. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And I would circle some words, I would circle some names, some years and some keywords and so on. So I would go back and read with the purpose of finding similar stuff in the text.
And is it necessary to read all the questions before you start reading the passage, or like what was your strategy? Did you like it's passage 1, you've got 13 questions, let's say 6 of them true false not given, 7 of them not completion gap filling questions. Did you read all of them, or
No,
was there a specific strategy you applied?
No, never. I know how my brain works.
Okay.
And my brain cannot retain all of those questions.
Yes.
If I read them all, it will be the same as reading the passage without any intention. If I read them all, then it will be a mix of information again.
Yes.
So you have to divide them into digestible sections, let's say,
Yes.
and read like that. And in some question types, they come in order. In some question types, that you have to do a little bit of searching, blah, blah. So depending on the question type, I would even sometimes read just one question and look for answer for it, just to locate the information. Yeah. But once you locate the information in the type of questions where the order is fixed, then it comes so easily to you. It just follows a certain, let's say,
path. Yes. When you hit a word that you don't know, what do you do instead of stopping? Like, there is a word you don't know, obviously.
It has happened to me in my exam.
I think it happens to even native speakers.
Yeah, of
doesn't
course.
it? Like, I mean, there are over 1 million words in English literature, right? Like in English dictionary, let's say. And I don't know, an educated person would know, I don't know how many. Shakespeare used to know probably 100,000 words, okay? And obviously we're not Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So what would you do?
I would just ignore that.
Really?
It's not the best way to approach. But
it has some sort of part to play in the answer.
I would ignore that, not in a sense that I block the word and I don't touch it. No. I would just ignore the fact that I don't know this word and I would keep reading.
Okay.
And most of the time, in most of the cases in IELTS, you can guess the main gist, idea of the text. Yeah, you can guess the gist. And once you read a paragraph, you kind of understand. And they kind of repeat themselves. The ideas kind of sometimes repeat themselves. For example, if it says he was an astonishing writer, then he will give you description of a person who is actually astonishing. And if you don't know if astonishing is a good or bad kind of word,
negative
or positive, you can guess it from the text. Of course, verbs are a bit more tricky.
Yes.
But still, you can, if you increase your reading comprehension, what I mean by that is not your vocabulary knowledge or something, but reading comprehension. It means analyzing and digesting what you have just read, taking some clues into consideration. If you increase that skill, then words being unknown to you will not prevent you getting a higher score. Of course, if you have a weak vocabulary, it will definitely show up.
Yes, yes.
Show up. Of course, if you have a weak vocabulary, it will definitely affect your score. But after a certain level, again, we are not prodigies, most of us, so we cannot know every word out to English speakers. The main thing, the bottom line is never to stop and dwell into your shortcoming during the exam. Okay,
Yes.
if you don't know the word, don't try to remember. Don't try to, wait it to be known to you all of a sudden. It will not happen during the exam. It will not happen. And you don't have vocabulary, you don't have access to internet. No, just keep reading and see if you can make it. Maybe that word isn't even essential for the
For the
questions.
answer, yes.
Yeah, it has happened a lot of time during my practice at home. At home, it's easier. You can check. But even at home, you have to do timed practices. You have to learn to
create that exam condition.
exactly. You have to learn to work under the pressure,
Yes.
under the given time frame. And at home, you shouldn't give yourself the luxury of checking every single word. Just keep reading, read the questions, and see if that word is relevant to the questions at all. Sometimes you are lucky, they are not relevant, they don't have anything to do. It is just some fancy word they put there to make you nervous and anxious.
All right. In reading, there is a question type that I would say almost everybody's afraid of. I think it is a little exaggerated, the level of difficulty of these questions, but still, I have seen so many candidates complain about this question type, true, false, not given. How about you? How did you solve these questions? How did you find answers? How did you not? Because if you scored 9, apparently you either made one mistake or no mistake at all. So you did very well in true, false, not given as well. How did you find the answers? How did you not confuse a not given with a false answer?
Actually, I was one of those students who found it troubling or like tricky
Okay.
in the beginning because like I also used to confuse false and not given or
Very
no
usual.
or not given.
Yes.
Because like they are a bit similar to each other in nature, but I learned to not assume anything. Okay, while when you read the text, a lot of us tend to assume.
Yes.
If it is not white, we assume it is black.
Yes.
You should not do that, okay? The text itself should tell you that it is not white but black.
The information must be there.
Information must be showed
At you. Yes.
okay? If it is true, false, not given kind of, or yes, no, not given kind of questions, they explicitly say if it is one way or another way. If it says the color of these clothes, let's say, is white, you only accept this color as a truth, okay? Or if it say it isn't white, you only know it is not white. Any other given color
can be
true, and you should never assume. Of course, it is a very simple example I just gave. I just made up from my mind.
True, false, not given questions usually are this simple.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is just exaggerated by the candidates, and they somehow do their best to confuse themselves.
Yeah, I agree. You just never assume anything. And for false, you will definitely have a counter argument, counter argument in the text. Okay, you will definitely have some sentence, even a paragraph sometimes, saying you it is the other way around. It is not this but that. But it is just when it just stops at it is not white and doesn't give you the correct answer, it's just not given. I don't know, maybe I'm giving a confusing example, but...
No, but yes, I totally agree with you that not given is... I usually tell my students this, not given is the most ridiculous statement. Like when you read the passage and then read something that is quite ridiculous, like you would laugh at that, that is not given. Even you don't have to sometimes read the passage to understand if it is not given or not. Let's go to writing. Well, when you wrote your task 2, did you plan your essay before writing, or you immediately jumped into?
Never immediately jump into any task or anything in this life. Like
Yeah.
you have to be well prepared for everything and anything. And I did that myself too. Because if you start writing without fully understanding the task itself, you will hurt your task achievement score, you will hurt your time management, you will hurt your your chances of going abroad or migrating, anything like your future. You just, if you want to save time by not paying attention to the task itself, you will lose like twice of that amount.
The mark, yes.
Yeah, twice of that amount of time.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
So I would always spare like a minute or two, or sometimes 3 minutes,
Yeah.
to understand the task itself. What kind of questions am I given to? I should always understand that. I would see. I don't think in terms of the names of questions, like agree, disagree, cause and pro. I don't know. I confuse them.
Well, I think there is just one type of essay, academic task 2 essay, that you need to write. Like all essays have got introductions, body paragraphs, and
Exactly.
conclusion.
I think like that. I exactly follow that pattern. I just read the question and I just don't stop and ask, oh, was it opinion essay? Or
Yeah, well, what kind of
that?
essay should I
Yeah,
write?
you don't need to know that. They are not asking that. Just read the question and answer the question in a deliberately, in a nicely written way.
Yes.
Okay, in a
Yes.
polished and fluent way. Because all types of questions should follow the same pattern, same structure. You should write an introduction, then main body 1, main body 2, and conclusion. And I used to start with introduction all the time. I used to write them in order. Yeah, I used to approach it in order because it helps me to introduction helps me to digest the fact that I did understand the question.
Yes.
Yeah, if I cannot write a nice introduction,
Exactly.
I would go back to the question.
Yes.
Because if I cannot introduce it in the first paragraph, it means I didn't understand the question quite
Very well.
all right.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. The introduction is the most important part, in your opinion. Perfect. So I do know that task 2 is where many candidates, many students have problems with, and planning does help. But apart from planning, what else helps task 2 score?
In speaking,
No. Obviously, in writing.
in writing.
Yes.
Apart from planning, you have to learn topic-specific vocabulary. It is important. It will definitely increase your score. If you keep saying traffic all the time, if you keep saying solve issue, solve the problem, solve the issue over and over again, of course it will decrease your score. You have to learn both topic-specific vocabulary, and also main words such as verbs and some kind of adjectives to describe task 2.
So this is academic. It should be academic.
It should be academic. Yeah, exactly. You can learn like one time if you say these steps should be taken to alleviate the problem. Next time you should say eliminate. Don't use the same word in introduction and
in body paragraph.
In body paragraph or conclusion and so on. And how to do that? You don't go and open a vocabulary and read words and absorb them automatically. It never happens. I wish it was, but it doesn't. It never happens. I wish it did, but it never
does. Yeah.
So in order to do that, I would suggest definitely read good essays. But don't just type Google IELTS reading or IELTS writing essay band 9, because they will
They are not authentic.
There will be so many badly written essays, falsely marked.
Or they are marketed. That's for whole. The idea is for marketing purposes.
Exactly.
Like they just
Don't
fill the
believe
market
everything you see on the internet. Have some media literacy.
Yes.
And go read essays on really reliable sources. Do your research before you start your IELTS preparation. Just don't believe in Google's marketing or someone else's clickbait.
And we don't know if these materials are authentic or not. So we need to definitely read authentic examiner writings.
Exactly.
Right?
Because when you are new to the IELTS and you are a bit lower level on the scores, in terms of score, you cannot differentiate good writing with bad writing. You cannot differentiate a real 9-band essay with 7.5 essay, for example.
That's true.
So if you don't know how to differentiate, just go to official examiners' websites, their blogs. There are a lot of names out there, and I have mentioned a couple of them already.
Okay. In speaking, so you scored 8.5, close to the perfect score. What's your approach to the part 2 cue card? Do you plan for the full minute, or what do you write down, basically?
I love that we are given a piece of paper and pen in part 2, because without them, I would be so lost. And if you had a chance to look at my notes, you would just see 3 or 4 words.
Okay.
I use them very efficiently. I keep it minimal, because if I write an entire idea or lots of ideas, I will not be able to think through them.
So you'll be lost in the ideas.
I mean, I will not be able to cover them all while I speak. Or I will not be able to think about the question itself when I am wasting my time writing full sentences. I would just pick 3 or key words about the thing I will speak. I would write some words that signifies, that directs me to the answer I created in my head. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I would write, if it's a question like, what do you think about fashion, and it's the way the role it plays in our self-expression, I would say fashion, politics, and I would just write politics, and it would help me to understand the main idea I will talk about. I would say politics has always affected fashion. It is a tool for us to stand out in the crowd, blah, blah, blah. I would never write tool, stand out, crowd. I don't need those words. I only need the main idea that I can relate those sentences to. Of course, then I would move on to another idea, and 2 ideas, 3 ideas are enough. And sometimes, when I see the question and I came up with an idiom or idiomatic phrase that is a perfect fit for that question, I would definitely write that idiom down, not to the fullest, but like even if like some abbreviations.
Okay.
Let's say the easiest one, like I'm on the cloud 9, for example. It means I am very happy. I would write 9 cloud. That's it. I would write that down because I don't want to forget to use that at the end of my speech.
Good.
That's very useful to use notes in your advantage.
So if we need to use that 1 minute to its fullest.
Yes, and never try to write an essay there.
Yeah.
You will be lost. You will harm your score.
Yes. Well, we know that there are 4 criteria upon which your score is assessed, your speaking is assessed. Which one would you sacrifice, but you think you would still get a good score? Fluency or advanced vocabulary?
I would definitely sacrifice advanced vocabulary. Yeah, I'm so sure about that, because fluency makes you seem like a good speaker.
Yeah.
Of course, examiner is not someone without an experience. He or she, they could assess you clearly, even if you are so fluent, but make a lot of wrong uses of the words, lexical errors, grammatical errors, blah, blah. But like for the sake of your own ease, for the sake of your own comfort, I would choose to go with fluency. Why I mean that? Because if you are trying to find the right word all the time and you yourself interrupt your speech all the time, you kind of will get yourself anxious. You will lead yourself to nervous state of mind.
Yes.
Yeah, you will be self-aware all the time. You will be, oh my God, I am making too much of a pause. Oh my God, I am I am waiting a lot. Blah
Yes.
blah, and that self monologue will hurt your
Kill you.
will
Kill
hurt
your
your vibe. Score. Vibe.
And non-native speakers usually worry about their accent. What would you say about that? So does accent, I received this question, I don't know, probably a zillion times. Does accent matter? You scored 8.5. Did accent matter?
I don't think so. I think I have improved my accent since then, since I took the exam for the last time. And I would always joke about it with my friends and my family that I speak in Nakhchivanian English. I used to think that I have that very heavy accent.
Yes.
Like the way I pronounce or I
Yes.
don't know how to explain, but it's a region of Azerbaijan where they pronounce some vowels more stressed than other regions. So I would sense that in my English speaking as well, and I used to be very worried about it. But after watching a lot of official examiner videos on YouTube and their advice on the matter, I realized that accent doesn't matter that much. Actually, it shouldn't even matter because it's not on the criteria.
Yeah.
The main thing, however, is pronunciation. The way you pronounce the word correctly does not mean you have no accent or you speak like a native speaker. Like they are two different things, and don't ever mix them with each other. Don't ever
Yes,
confuse them.
clarity matters, pronunciation matters, but accent is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the official IELTS exam listening part, you will hear different accents. You will hear Australian accent, or you will hear British one, sometimes even American, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, in some cases.
Even in some cases, I remember the speaker having very heavy accent that is not from English-speaking country.
Yes. Yes. Now, at the end, what would be a single piece of advice that you would give out to those who watch this video? Because people who really want to ace this exam watch this type of podcast show. And what would be your advice to them as a person who's achieved a tremendous score, 8.5 overall? What would be your advice?
I would say never ever look for shortcuts.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do the hard work, you gotta put in the effort, and you have to practice a lot. You have to, let's say, embrace the language. You have to expose yourself to the language.
Yeah.
And there is no easy way to complex tasks.
That's true.
There is even a saying like there are two answers to a difficult question. One is simple answer, one is the real answer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You gotta stick with the real answer, okay? You have to practice a lot. You have to practice daily. You have to put in the effort. You have to actively participate in practice sessions you create yourself, or if you are working with a tutor, you have to do all the homework that is out there for your submission. Okay, that's pretty much it. I always stick to the official materials.
Yes. Thank you, Refigan. That's been a fantastic meeting. I hope also viewers enjoy it and they learn from you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast show, and I am happy to share my experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much.